Finding Dory, chasing O.J. Simpson, and the Statue of Liberty are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is June 17th, 2021. It is the 168th day of the year. We got 197 days left. It is the 24th Thursday in the 25th week, and it's the 90th day of spring. 4 days left until summer, so what does that get us? What's today? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so Monday? If today is your birthday, your birthstone is a pearl or a moonstone. Today is National Mascot Day. National Mascot celebrates and recognizes the importance of mascots in sporting events. Mascots are one of the reasons why halftimes are not boring. They always bring a little excitement and enthusiasm to the halftime show. I don't think so, but okay. I mean, we had an Indian that threatened to scalp people when I was in high school, which I know today is completely politically incorrect, but we had an Indian that would go up and grab people by the top of the hair, act like he was gonna scalp them. Yeah, how times have changed. All right, let's see what else June 17th has given us. 1885, the Statue of Liberty arrives in New York Harbor. And it takes a couple years for them to put it up. They actually stored it for a while and just kind of forgot about it. And then someone realized it was there. Yeah, it's a weird story. There's a History Channel documentary called America, the Story of Us, where they explain how the Statue of Liberty got here. And for a couple years, they just had it in storage and people kind of forgot about it. And then one guy realized that we had this really cool statue just sitting there waiting to be assembled. 1901, the College Board introduces the first standardized test, the forerunner to the SAT. I was talking to some younger people that I worked with, and we're talking about SAT scores, and I didn't realize that from when I took the SATs to when they took the SATs, they had like added 100 points to the score or something like that. But I told them my score, and they looked at me like I was challenged because it was so low. When I took it, it was I wouldn't say middle of the road, it was a little above middle of the road, but they told me about the extra 100 points, or we figured it out. But it was funny. They just kind of looked at me like, and you went to college? How'd that work out? 1939, the last public guillotine, that's what it's called when you chop someone's head off with a guillotine. It's called guillotining in France. 1944, Iceland declares its independence from Denmark and becomes a republic. 1963, the United States Supreme Court rules 8-1 in Abington School District versus Shemp against requiring the reciting of Bible verses and the Lord's Prayer in public schools. 1972, Watergate scandal. 5 White House operatives are arrested for burglarizing the office of the Democratic National Committee during an attempt by members of the administration of President Richard Nixon to illegally wiretap the political opposition as part of a broader campaign to subvert the democratic process. Basically, they were just trying to gain intel, like it was a military operation or something like that. And they basically tried to do some really shady stuff. A lot of people went to prison for that. 1991, apartheid. The South African Parliament repeals the Populations Registration Act, which requires racial classification of all South African at birth. Weird times. 1994, following a televised low-speed highway chase, O.J. Simpson is arrested for the murder of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman. Now, I don't know if any of you guys remember this. I was living in LA at the time, and this was big news. I remember watching the slow speed chase of the white Bronco. Oddly enough, I almost bought a white Bronco just like that the week before, and the guy ended up getting a better offer, so I didn't get the car, but I was like, that'd be great. That car was kind of became a joke after that slow speed chase for a while there. If you don't remember this, O.J. Simpson was a great football player, and in his retirement years, he was a sportscaster and was in a couple movies and stuff like that. In 1994, his ex-wife was at a restaurant with some family members or something like that, and I don't know if they were trying to work things out or what the dynamic of their relationship was at the time, her and O.J. Simpson, but she was out to dinner. She left some glasses there. The very attractive young man that was their waiter had their address and brought her glasses to them. That's the story. We don't know if he was there for a booty call or whatever. They never got that far into it with the case, but for some reason, somebody came along and basically hacked them up with a knife in the little courtyard of her condo complex. I watched the whole trial, and they tried to pin it on OJ and just all this weird stuff. And they had all this little circumstantial evidence, but nothing really put him there at the scene. No eyewitnesses, no nothing. I know the area where it happened, and there's a lot of people around there. People walking their dogs, jogging. It was a little bit later at night, but still, I find it hard to believe someone didn't see his car, a car, him, something like that. Now, do I believe that OJ did it? Yeah, I do. I do believe that he did it, and I believe he had help, because just the nature of how these two were murdered, and nobody heard screams or anything like that, I think there was two people involved in this. Because if you start attacking someone with a knife, there's a lot of screaming and yelling, and there's neighbors right there. Nobody really heard anything. Anyway, so while they're doing the investigation thing, they finally decide that they're going to arrest O.J. Simpson for it. They go to his house. He's not there. And then all of a sudden on the news, they have his white Bronco going down the road. He's in the back seat of the Bronco, laying on the back seat, and his friend A.C. Cowling, he's driving the Bronco, and they never exceeded the speed limit. They're just going down the road, and it was just weird. They eventually get to OJ's house, and they arrest him. But for the hour or two that this slow speed chase was going on, LA was glued to their television. I was in a bar when it started. And, well, first of all, someone yelled, "The juice is loose," is what they used to yell when O.J. Simpson was running down the football field. But somebody yelled that in the bar. And then this whole bar just sat there and watched this whole fiasco go on television. In the end, everyone knows O.J. was acquitted of the murder. But he was found guilty during a civil suit and was supposed to pay all kinds of millions of dollars and all this other stuff years later. What an idiot. He's already public enemy number one, and that case had kind of faded a little bit, and then he decided to rob some sports memorabilia guy that had some of his old stuff that he wanted back. He did time in prison for that. 2015, some human waste killed 9 people in a mass shooting at Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston, South Carolina. That one was really sad. Just a Bible study group minding their own business, and this neo-Nazi dude walks in, talks to him for a bit, and then starts killing people. Movies released on June 17, 2016. We got the sequel to Finding Nemo, Finding Dory. It starred Ellen DeGeneres, Ed O'Neill, Diane Keaton, Eugene Levy, Caitlin Olsen, Dominic West, Albert Brooks, Idris Elba, which he's a famous African-American actor, and I can never pronounce his name properly. I think he's actually British. And Ty Burrell from Modern Family. Cute movie, though. Born on June 17th, 1943, Barry Manilow. Famous singer, songwriter, had problems with a chick named Mandy. He made a lot of money writing jingles for different companies. A couple of them for McDonald's, like "You Deserve a Break Today." He did "Grab a Bucket of Chicken" for KFC. "Give Your Face Something to Smile About" by Stridex. "Like a Good Neighbor," State Farm is Here. He did that one. "I Am Stuck on Band-Aid" brand. Yeah, wrote ones for Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, all kinds of things. I had read once, and I can't find any facts on it or any information on it, but I had heard that he had made more doing jingles than he had ever done with his music. And I think it was because he did that directly and didn't have to go through his record label, who your record label back in the day took more than half the money the artists actually made. So yeah, I think he made more money doing jingles. Died on June 17th, 2012, Rodney King passed away. American victim of police brutality. He was beaten by the LAPD officers during an arrest after a high-speed chase for driving while intoxicated. The incident was covered by news medias around the world and caused the public to become outraged. He died at the age of 47 after he accidentally drowned in his swimming pool. That whole thing with Rodney King, it was pretty sad. I mean, it was the first time a video camera, which were just kind of coming into everyone's hands at the time. They'd been around a little bit, but everyone was starting to get them. And this guy just heard sirens, stuck his camera out, filmed this thing. And when all the police were acquitted, a year or so later, we had the Los Angeles riots. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a productive day, and be nice to each other.